I'm going to do a reading today on basically on the kind of energy that we attract into our lives. And so this energy is aimed at people who consider themselves to be empaths. So those of you who feel the world more deeply and who possibly struggle with being grounded and with actually wanting to be here, to be on this planet. A lot of empaths don't want to be here. They kind of like wish they were up there, back where they came from, and they don't feel that they belong. So they spend a lot of time in their heads, and they're very intuitive, and they're very good at like channeling and connecting and all of the different like clairs, but they're not so great at being grounded in their bodies, taking care of themselves, and being practical in their lives. They kind of like struggle with the everyday mundanity of life, I guess. Not all empaths, but some empaths, because after all, we're all different, and there are different kind of like empath types as well. But one thing that a lot of empaths seem to experience and to get confused by is energy attacks that come at them from the outside, from somewhere else in the world, when they're just sitting there peacefully minding their own business. And so I thought I would do a reading about that. So this reading is going to basically like hone in on what is it about me that is attracting this into my life right now, or what is it about me that attracted this. Think of the last time when you were attacked by some kind of like external energy, whether that was a person or an event. Think of that, and then we'll try and figure out like why that happened to you in that one instance, or why it is a pattern that keeps happening to you. Like, what is it in your energy that is attracting that from the outside? Like, I don't know if you're the kind of person who is constantly getting aggro from strangers when you are, I don't know, walking down the street or using public transport, and you just think, it seems to be happening to me more than it ought to be, and more than is a coincidence. We're going to try and hone in on what is it about you that attracts that kind of behavior from other people when you're just sitting there, minding your own business. Okay, so I'm going to pull a card from a tarot deck, and I'm also going to pull an oracle card deck as well, and then we'll see where that gets us and how that balances out. So the tarot card deck I'm using is the Rider-Waite deck, and it's the Radiant Rider-Waite. This is one that I use a lot. It's a nice clear version of the Rider-Waite. The original Rider-Waite, the images aren't quite so clear, and so it's not quite as satisfying to read or as easy to read. And then the other deck is the Archangel Animals deck by Diana Cooper. And I've only done one reading from that deck. I did like my unboxing reading essentially. So it's still a relatively new deck for me, but I really like the images in it. I like the energy of it. So we'll see what comes up there. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards. It's important when you're doing a reading to make sure that every time you come in and you do a new reading, you clear the deck properly. So start off by shuffling the cards thoroughly, just to make sure they're all in a different order to when you put the cards back from the previous reading, or whatever else you were doing with the cards prior to sitting down and doing a reading on yourself. Shuffle them thoroughly just to clear the deck. If you want to clear it even more thoroughly, you can hold the deck in your hands. You can knock on it 3 times. so that knocks any kind of like bad energy out of the deck. And you can also put your hand on top and just like visualize bright white light pouring through the cards, cleansing and clearing them. If you want more of a tactile, physical approach, you can get a crystal. You can either take a dark colored crystal or a clear colored crystal and just sit it on top of your cards. I mean, any crystal will be helpful, but a dark or a clear one will clear the cards, clear the energy. So I would recommend that. And then the cards are ready to go, and then we can like ask a question and see what comes up. So I'll ask the question now. So I close my eyes and I connect to the deck and the deck's energy. And when I have a direct connection with the deck and the energy of the deck, I then send out a path of light to my audience, to everybody that I want this reading to reach and to speak to. And I include your energy in the energy of the deck and with my energy, so that we're all combined. So that now when I ask the question is about all of us. Or more specifically, it's about me setting out that intention to get that answer for you. Okay. And then I shuffle the deck so the card comes out. Okay, so we've got 2 cards. Okay, so we're going to read them first. So I'm just shuffling this deck to shuffle it. Connecting with you through the cards, through my energy. And asking the question. And the cards come out. Okay, so the first card that we have is the King of Swords. So this is the kind of like the why is this happening to me? And this card, so basically, okay, so this reading is basically, it's about why whoever is attacking you, okay? So the person who is attacking you because they are trying to be the King of Swords. They are trying to be a wordsmith in their life. They are trying to use their word as their weapon, as their tool, as their means of creating a kingdom for themselves, and building the life that they want. And they're trying to be true to their intentions and their beliefs. But the problem is that they are situated on a hilltop, all on their own. They are surrounded by a few sparse trees. There's a bit of greenery there, but there's also a bit of like kind of like dry earth with no nourishment or life or vitality in it. And they are on this hilltop on their own, on a very, very small flat space. And they are on the edge of like a steep precipice. So like if they stand up off their throne and they take more than one step forwards, they're going to tumble down the hill and they will like come tumbling down. So they're almost like Humpty Dumpty sitting on the wall. If they move, they're going to fall, they're going to topple, they're going to break, and nobody's going to be able to put them back together again. Or this is their fear and their belief. So they feel like they are very much on their own in the world. and they don't know how to change this or what to do about it. They're literally like, it's me against the world. They are trying to speak their truth. They are trying to be grounded and to be authentic. They are trying to express themselves through their masculine energy, through their sexual fire, their kundalini energy, and they are also trying to follow their soul path and be connected to their soul journey. But like all of this, it all feels like a very heavy weight. It's like this heavy kind of like shroud that is around them. And so instead of just wearing like light robes that are this color, that have this energy, it's almost like they've pulled a heavy curtain down off from a theatre, the curtains that go across. It's almost like they've pulled these heavy curtains down, and they've like cloaked themselves in these curtains, which are the different colours that make up their outfit. But they are so heavy because they're not meant to be worn by a man. They're meant to be like, set decorations. They're meant to be functional. They're meant to be worn by a building. And then this crown has just been like then placed on their head in order to keep everything in place, and in order to essentially as well stop their brain from exploding. So they feel very their energy is sunken, and they are desperately trying to hold themselves upright. They are desperately trying to stay on their throne and stay on path and stay focused and keep fighting the good fight. And they're desperately trying to do something good, and to build something, but somehow they've gotten stuck on this narrow, uncomfortable throne, on this narrow, uncomfortable hilltop or mountaintop, in the middle of nowhere, all on their own. And even though the world around them looks calm and tranquil and the weather is pleasant, it's not a relaxed, sunny, calm, pleasant place. It's not a place where you just want to hang out. It's kind of, this guy is just, he's not a happy chap. So like the energy that you're attracting towards you is coming from this chap. Yeah, this is who the person is whose energy was vented on you. And so if we're looking at this card, we can kind of understand why this person may have felt the need to lash out, because they feel very isolated and alone. They don't feel like they've got any support in the world right now. They're really like intent on their path and their pilgrimage, and there's no space to let anyone in. Like, there's no space on that hilltop for anybody else. There's no space for anyone to help them with that burden. There's no space for anyone to go in there and say, hang on a second, maybe we could do some alterations here and we could adjust your clothing. And so you could still, be wearing your purple, your orange and your blue, but we can modify it so that it's a lighter outfit, so that it's more comfortable. And hey, maybe we can put some cushions on your throne so that it's not quite so uncomfy, and plant some flowers around you, or move your throne backwards so you're not so likely to fall over the edge. They're not able to allow any of that energy in towards them, and they're scared of someone coming and offering that to them, because if they accept it, then maybe they will become weak, maybe they will give up, maybe they will lose sight of their goal. And if that happens, then the kingdom will not be theirs, they will not win. So they do not feel secure enough in their position on that throne. They do not feel secure enough in their kingdom and their ability to rule it. And you, as a gentle person, as a polite person, as a people-pleasing person, as an empath, are therefore a threat to them, because your energy could be their very undoing if they allow it in. And so even if you haven't opened your mouth, even if you haven't had eye contact with that person, even if there's been no interaction whatsoever, or maybe it's been a minor one and it's been a really gentle one, just your very presence, your very existence, your very energy being in that same space as theirs is going to trigger them. It's going to provoke them, even if it's coming from a subconscious place in them as well. And then it's like the reason behind why this person has become the King of Swords is because really they started out as the Seven of Pentacles, and the Seven of Pentacles is a humble man. He's an honest man. He's a homebred man. He is like the boy next door grown into a man, and his dreams when he was younger were literally to have his plot of land and to farm it, to plough it, to look after it, to water it, to rake it, and to plant in it. And that was how, you know, he was then going to have his little piece of heaven in the world. That was his dream. And, you know, he wasn't asking for the world, but he had aspirations. You know, it's like he wanted the 7 pentacles. He didn't just want 1 pentacle, he wanted 7 pentacles. He wanted to have a certain amount of comfort in his life. He wanted to build a better life for himself than his parents had managed to give to him. He wanted to you know, to be able to build a better life so that he could then give to his parents and you know, contribute towards their lives and help them out as a way of thanking them for raising him, and for giving him a life. And so he had really like high ideals and really good intentions, and he was honest and true and humble. But he was, you know, he was really hopeful and he was really positive, and he believed that, you know, it wasn't like he was praying for anybody else to help him. He wasn't looking for anyone else to help him. He just believed that if he focused on his vine and he tended to it and he loved it and he nurtured it, and he treated it like a child, that it would grow, and it would grow bountiful and plentiful, and that would provide him. And so, you know, he had all of these hopes and dreams and everything, and he really believed in them, and he worked hard, or he was prepared to work hard. But it didn't turn out that way, and instead he's ended up a bit more like this man who's kind of like, he's not in the earth anymore. He's not touching, he's not doing, he's all in his head, he's intellectualizing, and he's trying to create from that space, but he's not really grounded enough. And he's at the top of this mountain, and you know, it's a perilous mountain. If he takes one step in the wrong direction, he's going to tumble and fall all the way down and break himself. And so he's come a long way. He's come a long way from where he started, and he's not happy about that. And this is why he's lashed out, and you have been hurt as a result. But it's like when you look at this person, and they're hurting you, and you don't know what to do about it, and you're kind of like confused as to why you keep attracting the same behavior, the same energy that isn't really like helpful to you. Just try to have some compassion and empathy, and realize that this is where they started out, that this is who they are at their core, and that they have been hijacked by life. They have lost themselves in the demands of life, the pace of life, the responsibilities of life, and they've ended up here. And this is a very lonely space, and there's no room for anyone else here, whereas here there's plenty of room for other people to come in and help them out. You know, they might be alone here, they might be standing there wistfully looking at their vine, but there's like a whole field there around them, and so there's plenty of space for other people to come in. And you know, we can imagine this man going home quite happily at the end of the day for a home cooked meal, and having, you know, love in his life with a family, whereas this man, not so much. And then the oracle cards that came out was the Ladybird. And this card says, accept happiness and good fortune. This card has, like, the ladybird is ladybird is like in a field, and this field is quite abstract. So we have dandelions in here, and the ladybird is like hanging on to a dandelion and going on a little journey. You know, being blown by the seed in the wind. And then there's another ladybird who's like kind of like climbing around a leaf, a plant, and finding a drop of water and drinking it. And the ladybird that's doing that is it's like on a spiral. So the ladybird that's on there is like she's taking this slow, winding journey that's going, you know, forever well, she's coming from the center and she's going out, so she's like slowly but surely she's unraveling the complexity of her life, and she's coming out from the center further and further out into the world. And then, you know, when she finishes, she will go down the leaf and down the stem and into the earth. So that is her journey. And the other ladybird has basically jumped onto a dandelion seed, and is now going on a journey over which she has no control, because the wind will blow her wherever the wind would like to you know, travel. And so she's just along for the ride. So one of them is on a slow, careful journey, and it says accept happiness. And the happiness that in this card is like the ladybird has found this little droplet of water, and this droplet of water is a gift from the universe. You know, like the water has come from elsewhere and settled upon this leaf, and it is pure and clean and good and nourishing and thirst quenching. And this ladybird has been traveling for a long time, so they're very happy to have this water here as a gift. And the card's message is like, accept happiness, accept these gifts when they come into your life. Don't judge them, don't, you know, be suspicious of them. When you are given a gift from the universe, no matter how complex or simple, how big or small, it's like, allow these little bits of happiness to come into your life and accept them graciously and willingly, and with excitement and curiosity. And then the other card is just encouraging you, don't hang on so tightly, don't be so scared, don't only travel round and round the leaf. It's like, take a deep breath and take a leap of faith and go on an adventure, and be open to new things happening, be open to traveling to new spaces, be open to letting go of control and not knowing where you're going. And so like the energy of this card is basically is offered up as a way of changing the energy around you and navigating yourself through these difficult situations. And this card is basically asking us to look at life in a different way. It's like, okay, so what are the small things in life that are being presented to you? Where are the tiny little gifts, the little bits of fortune? Focus more on them and make them seem bigger, as opposed to being preoccupied by someone else's behavior in your life and how it is affecting you and hurting you. You know, you can still keep your own space, your own peace. You can still stay grounded even if things around you are a little turbulent. So yeah, just look for the good things, and make that a daily practice. And then the other card is, the other ladybird is basically asking us to contemplate adventure, to contemplate jumping off the leaf, and going on a journey to somewhere else. And maybe it's just like a situation where we need to actually like take ourselves out of that situation and travel somewhere else, somewhere far away. And maybe we just need to like jump onto this little dandelion seed, and see where the wind blows us, and not actually, you know, just to surrender to whatever happens and not worry so much about having control over the next step all the time, and you know, whether we know what is going to happen or not. I think a lot of the time we don't take risks in our lives because we are too scared when we don't know the outcome, so we like to plot everything through and know that it's going to be a success before we even start. And that can be limiting, because if we don't just dive straight in, and risk failing completely, risk falling flat on our faces, we're also never going to fly. You know, you don't fly by being shy and tentative and you know, taking cautious steps. You fly by taking a big running jump and risking falling flat on your face. So yeah, there's like two basically energies in this card. It's like, one is accept happiness and the other is accept good fortune. And so if the universe comes to you and offers you an opportunity, a new opportunity, instead of like closing yourself off to it and saying no because maybe the idea of it is a little bit scary, this card is saying accept good fortune into your life, accept happiness, accept the gifts from the universe. Every little dewdrop that comes your way, open out your hand and say yes please, instead of no thank you, I don't know where you came from. Now I'm going to find this card in the booklet that came with the deck and just read what was written in there, because there are other insights on these cards, and there's like healing advice and stuff, so it's quite useful to include that as well. Okay, so about ladybirds. These bright little insects from Orion carry wisdom and joy in their energy fields. They spread angelic qualities of peace, harmony, cooperation, joy, love, and higher understanding wherever they go. People sense this and love them for it. If you feel delighted when you see a ladybird, your energy shifts, and this opens you to experience joy, blessings, and good fortune from the universe. While the service mission of ladybirds on Earth is to eat aphids that damage crops, their sole mission is to assist all plants. They work with the fairies and sylphs, who are air elementals, to blow away from fauna and flora any lower energy that is holding back their development and growth. They also communicate with those insects who are damaging plants and try to persuade them to move away. If you are graced by the presence of a ladybird, you are very blessed. So, wow, that's pretty amazing actually in terms of our reading, because it's like saying if you call upon the ladybirds and lean into the energy of the ladybird, they will help you to clear away the negative energy that is clinging to you and trying to affect you. So that's definitely something to do, is to take yourself into, like, you know, trance state and place of meditation, and to go into your third eye chakra and to visualize, you know, yourself communicating with the ladybirds. Have a conversation with them, invite them into your life, ask them to clear your energy after something like that happens. And, you know, like in the same way that Archangel Michael can come in and, you know, lend us his blue cloak and protect us from negative energy coming in, and can help to kind of like ground us in that sense, and can like fight battles on our behalf, so can the ladybirds help us by clearing our energy. So that's definitely a thing to do in this instance. The guidance says, if you choose this card, it signals that you are about to receive a blessing from the universe. An angel may touch you, happiness awaits you, you are illuminated with new understandings, all good fortune is coming your way. Give thanks for all that you have received already, so that you are energetically prepared for the new before the gift flies away. Ladybird energy invites you to spread angelic qualities today. This will make a difference to those you touch, and you may be surprised how people and animals will appreciate it. You are also asked to communicate graciously to all the people you meet or write to in a way that will nourish and support them. So basically, spread more light, be as high vibrational as you can, and do everything that you can to protect your light and to protect your energy. And when you do feel like it is being threatened and drained and stamped on and attacked, do connect to the energy of the ladybirds and call them into your life and ask them to help you to return to your authentic self again, to your natural energy. So that's the reading for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope that's given you some insight into why this might be happening to you, a bit of empathy and compassion with whoever is the creator of these scenes of drama and antagonism, and a way to protect yourself moving into the future. Okay, so if you liked this reading, please do give me a happy thumb on the video, and subscribe to this channel if you would like to follow more videos to receive more readings, and check out my website lemonrosepetals.com if you would like to know more about me, or if you'd like to book a private reading, and I will see you next time.